Hi there. Sorry I can't be with you during class today. We're just going to go over some basic skills. So I'm going to go back to the first screen, and it's going to be adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, looking for the least common multiple, greatest common factor. And some of you might know this, and some of you might not know this, but it's just going to be a review. And when you watch this and you look at the problems, I would like you to get your math notebooks out and at least try to do these. And so when we're going through the problems, and there are 15 of them, I'd like you to pause the video so that you can at least listen to what I'm saying and how to do a problem. So the first one is just adding, and we're adding three numbers. So in your notebook, you should be writing down exactly what they have on the screen. And as soon as you do that, I would just have you pause this and go ahead and try to get an answer. And make sure you have it in your notebook so that when we go over it, you'll be able to see if you have the correct answer. The next is going to be subtracting. So go ahead and copy this in your notebook and perform the subtraction. Make sure you check your work. And then again, simply pause the video. The next one has a bakery had 594 bags of sugar. A baker used 62 of these bags to make pies. How many bags does the bakery still have? Well, here you're going to have to decide what operation you need to use. So think about it. If they have 594 bags, okay, and they use 62 of the bags, and they're saying, how many does the bakery still have? Think about what operation you would be using. And really, we're just going to be either adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing. So make sure you think about it and see if it makes sense. And in your notebook, go ahead and perform the operation and get your answer. Next, multiply. Now here we have a 3-digit number and we're multiplying it by a 2-digit number. I'm going to hope that you know your math facts. And if you don't, it's okay and we'll work through it. But give it a try. The next problem, they say evaluate. Evaluate just means get an answer. So don't get worried about it. Sometimes they may say, oh, solve this. Evaluate. Find an answer. You should write this down in your notebook. Some of you might know this, some of you might not know this. So you'd be putting 3 plus 4 to the second power times 2. That little dot means a multiplication sign. And I don't know if you know this or not, but 4 to the second power, that means 4 is getting multiplied by itself 2 times. Give it a try, see if you can do the work. If you can't, put a little question mark so that I know that you need more of an explanation. And I'm sure you've learned your order of operations. You might have said PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, left to right, whatever comes first, and then adding and subtracting, left to right, whatever comes first. Again, if you don't understand this, put a little note and I will help you. Next, subtract. I know some students said that they were not familiar with subtracting with decimals. Think of decimals as money. You always have to line up the decimal points. And if you do that, like I'm going to try to do this here. We have 19, let me try to get that. 19.2. You should put a 0 because then on the next line when you subtract, you're going to be subtracting 6.17. And I will try to get a subtraction sign here for you. And when you do that, notice I lined up my decimal points. That's important. And you always put a 0 in there to represent a missing place value. They call that annexing a 0. And then you would just simply subtract. Try it out. If you can't do it, do the best you can, and then just simply put a little star or a question mark there and we will go over it. I don't want you to get worried about anything, and you don't have to get it all done real quickly. The next one, add. I'm not going to do anything on this one, But I will tell you that when you add or subtract with decimals, you should line them up vertically. Vertically means up and down. Line up the decimal points, and then make sure you throw in the zeros to represent the place value that is missing. So annex the zeros and see how you do on that. Next, divide. This one might be a little tricky for some of you, and you might know how to do it, you might not. So I am going to just go ahead and I'm going to let you try it. If you know how to do it, that's great. If you don't know how to do it, it's okay. And if you really are stuck, just go ahead and put a little star, and I will go over this with you. Some of you may have learned it last year. Some of you may not have learned it, but I don't want you to worry about it right now. And I don't want you using a calculator either. Write the fraction 27 over 36 or 27/36 in simplest form. Here, when you have your fraction, you're trying to see if you can find a number in the numerator and a number in the denominator that you can divide both of those numbers by to simplify it. Some of you have done this last year, some of you have not. Think of a number you can divide 27 by and a number you can divide 36 by, and see if you can come up with the fraction in simplest form. If you're stuck on it, just do what I told you to do. Put a little star, and we will work on it. Do not worry. Divide. Write your answer in simplest form. I'm going to give you a little hint because some of you maybe did this last year. If you didn't, it's okay. We had something called, they maybe said keep, change, and flip. Keep your first fraction, change division to multiplication, and flip the second fraction. That means you are going to multiply by the reciprocal. That's what the flip means. If you know how to do this, that's great. Give it a try. If you don't, put a little star, and I will help you later. The next one says, let's find 3/5 plus 1/3. Well, the first thing that you have to do when you add or subtract fractions with different denominators, you have to find a common denominator, and then you have to find an equivalent fraction with that denominator. If you remember how to do that, that's great. If you don't, put a star by it. Same thing is going to be with the subtracting with a mixed number. Some of you are going to know how to do this. Some of you are not. Please do not use a calculator. If you think you know it, give it a try. If not, put a star by it. Write 24 over 25 as a decimal. I always teach it where this fraction bar means divided by. The top number, top dog, goes in the house. So if you were really going to go ahead and perform the division on this problem, here's your top dog, goes in the house. So here's the house. The 24 would go here. You're going to put this over here. This is going to be your divisor. This is your dividend. I don't know if you remember this or not, but you're going to put a decimal point, and then like a rocket ship, it goes up into the quotient. You will annex some zeros, and you will perform the division just like you normally would. And take a peek here, because I think it's kind of interesting. Notice, we don't have a place value in the 10 or the 1s, and that's because if you look at 24/25, it is less than 1, isn't it? So this number better be less than 1. So go ahead and try to do that division and see what decimal equivalent you come up with. If you don't know how to do it and you're getting a little frustrated, put a little star. We'll get back to it. And then the last one, find the greatest common factor of 18 and 48. So if you know how to do that, a common factor is going to be a number that you can divide both of those by. What's the biggest number you can divide 18 and 48 by? Try to think about that, And if you can't, maybe you'll try prime factorization where you do a factor tree. And if you are stuck on it, don't be alarmed. Put a little star. But I do want you to go through these a couple of times, and I would at least like you to give it a try. If you really don't know, it's okay. And then here we're looking at the least common multiple of 10 and 6. Multiples would be like skip counting. So you can skip count by 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. You can skip count by sixes, 6, 12, 18, 24, and so forth. And whenever you get a number, when you're skip counting, that is the same with the 10 and the same with the 6, you got the winner. I will tell you, the least common multiple always has to be at least as big as your biggest number. Cannot be anything less than 10, if that's a good little hint for you. And that is the lesson. Again, you might have to go through this and just hit pause, and that's fine. And then your homework is going to be doing 10 topics on ALEKS before Friday morning at 7 a.m. I would really rather you not be working like at 11 or 12 o'clock at night or 5 in the morning. But I am giving you until Friday morning at 7 a.m. to get your 10 topics done. You can use any topics you want, but please try to remember to use your math notebook, put the date that you're working, and show all your work. And I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.